10 years. It's been 10 years now since I created this fight and released Cereb to the world. Kind of crazy to think it's been that long, but I can't argue with time. Uh, you know, for a long time now, I kind of had this idea off and on of just sort of going through this whole encounter and just talking about my work. And naturally, I never did it. But with the 10th anniversary of its release, I figured, if ever there was a time to do it, it would be now. So I'm going to be playing as you noticed the Create Your Frisk version. This is like the most recent version, which at this point is probably like 7 years old, but that the details. So yeah, this title card was actually a surprise birthday gift from a friend of mine, Crazy4321. He commissioned someone named Patman DX to draw this. There's actually two versions of this art. There's the one I is shown here, and then there's one other with bullets. I'm probably putting that up on the screen right now. I went with this one just because, I don't know, I went with this one. But without further ado, oh, I should probably be actually focused on the window. God, it's wild seeing the I had a rather large pool of names I added to this. A lot of them were people who helped playtest this or gave me coding help or just general encouragement while I worked on this. This is a truncation of, I think, Travus, who was like an early code head in the community. I don't know. I honestly haven't even talked to them in years. They probably don't even go by this handle anymore. But let's go on ahead. So yeah, broad-minded individual. So Cereb's talk sound is just a sound from Undertale played in reverse. I believe it. I mean, they don't really have names, but I think it gets used in the Undying Date scene at the very least. But try to discuss theoretical physics, but it's elementary discussion. Yeah, so this first part, it's a lot of my earliest attacks in this because it's where everything started. And so a lot of them are just kind of very simplistic things. I always thought Frisk's hair looked terrible. And that's just the entirety of where that line comes from. Oh. Yeah. This is just a, kind of a reconfigured bullet test Toho, which is one of the, basic attacks, and encounter skeleton, you know, I kind of wish I'd gotten a little more original with it, but I guess I did with, you know, changing the math and adding the whole animation and everything, but it's honestly kind of a dull attack once you, understand how it works, how to dodge it, because, you can stand still for most of it. This attack definitely, oh god, that's loud. That was one of my later ones, I think, just because the animation, kind of cheated by having everything vertically aligned. What was I doing? Okay, right, I was holding it upside down. You know, you have other attacks. Yeah, so this is where the story properly starts. So like this whole fight was basically inspired by Undertale Red, which, as far as I know, is the first Undertale fan game made, and certainly the first one with any sort of impact. It came out like just like 1 or 2 weeks after Undertale came out, and the person who made it, Taxidermy, is now on the Deltarune development team, so that's pretty neat. Really happy for them. But like the whole premise of that was just sort of, you know, you're playing the game normally, and you just kind of wander into some place you don't normally go in the story and meet another character who could conceivably exist in the canon world, but just you don't see. And I kind of wanted to do something similar to that with Cereb. Just having a hypothetical where what if he just, you know, takes you in for some studying. Like, if I had had a little more gumption at the time, I probably would have had him capture you during Papyrus's Gauntlet of Deadly Terror. When all the traps come out, and then you just vanish, and Papyrus goes, "Drat! I have made the Gauntlet of Deadly Terror too deadly!" And then that would be when this fight happens. Anyways, so this whole premise, I always liked the idea of... This one thing that I felt was never really explored for pacifying an Undertale was the whole premise of just hurting yourself, just as sort of a bargaining chip. You know, you can try it with Toriel, but obviously she just stops doing attacks you can get hit by and just won't budge. Which, fair play, but, you know, I figured I would try it here too. Or, well, try it here instead. So that's basically what I did. And, you know, I felt and then I added in some green bullets to perhaps give the hint, and also make it a little more challenging if you do know what's going on, so you don't just accidentally die. I do kind of wish that, you know, there was a color more visible than yellow against white that I could use, but, you know, the color choices are kind of limited. Because, like, here, it's hard to tell that the top of these needles are white. But, they are. And here we go. Here's our first ending. And he spares you, and I mean, you could just choose to attack him and end the fight here, or just leave, but, you know, I'm just gonna showcase the key routes right now, like this one. And, you know, I kind of messed around a bit with the gold and experience awards, as I recall, but, well, I don't even remember who this is. If this person is watching this right now, I am sorry. But, I don't remember who you are. So, I'm probably going to skip ahead now to, some other more interesting footage. Oh yeah, that's right. If you just keep sparing, that is another way to get to that other route, but the attacks do slowly get more complicated. And I am playing terribly. Running into my own bullets. Yeah, this is the attack showcased in that alternate version, except, you know, also with healing. But, you know. I mostly just wanted to have healing bullets, I think, when I made this, but... I had to change that line, though she is a brilliant mind. It used to be past tense, and people, and someone thought that, like, she had died or something, and I'm like, no! Man, I sure loved my stacking sound effects when I did this. And yeah, this is an unused track from Undertale, Star. I believe its original intent was to play when you fought magic and just didn't get hit and also didn't move. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Admittedly, a lot of these acts were just... Whoops. Thank you. A lot of these acts are just kind of tacked on. Like, the zombie ending is just here just kind of as a joke. God, those are loud. And like, the talk concentrate combo was added later just to give them a use, because originally the only way to get to the passive setting was by spamming spare a whole bunch, and that isn't interesting. I mean, it's still there, but, you know, it's just not really... a lot of people who play the game I've seen just don't do it, which, you know, makes sense. It's, you know, you'd act before you spare. That's the general tendency that people have. And, yeah, and now let's, oh. Right, there's one more. I forgot how many acts this is, whatever. Alright, okay. Now we're going full plants versus zombies, or I guess brains versus zombies. Ha ha ha. Funny joke. Oh, that's a bug. Okay. Oh well. Yeah, because that wasn't the name that I had when I did all that. Oh, I'll just... That'll be something to fix when I definitely make a patch for this. I'm probably not doing that. So let's do, one thing I definitely... one thing I was very, like, fixated on for this was having Cereb have a response for pretty much anything you did. And that basically led to, this whole route. The talk route, which is where you just kind of do a little bit of both things. I forget the exact triggers for it, but, like... I think just, Oh, right. Okay. I remember. You gotta get to the warning. Because, yeah, you're acting completely unnatural here, and then he's just like, oh, you're just toying with me. And then, you know, everyone back in this era was crazy about Gaster. It's like the Mike or the friend of yore. So I felt compelled to put a mention of him here. So yeah, and then I have this whole phase. Made a new button and everything. Ah, yes, the binary maze. Definitely one of my more elegant bits of work in terms of attacks, but it's basically just a bunch of different matrices of bullet patterns that are randomized into ones and zeros. So yeah, I figured, you know, it's the hip thing. Let's have a flirt. Yeah, this, like, will switch between, like, 3 or so different potential patterns. And then, of course, there's a special pattern for the beginning or end. And I forgot I did this. Just, because I know at this point the player is looking for all the endings. That was a good... I don't even remember this attack. A lot of these attacks were like some of my later ones. This attack, I very specifically remember, only exists because I made an error in, like, some math, and I just thought it looked really cool. Oh yeah, and of course, I had to put some of these in. It was the hot thing, which, like, friend is now. I already said that. Well, that's too bad. I did legit just Google parts of the brain for this. So, you know. Yeah, the flirts don't do anything, they're just there for flavor. I did at one point, like, I think some friends and I were gonna do like this little contest where we made, like, instead of fights, sort of date scenarios. And I was considering doing one with Cereb, but it's just him playing like a dating sim. And then... Or it was just a dating sim with brains, and then, like, at the end of it, you just see Frisk on the computer, and then Cereb just comes in and is just like, do not tell anyone about what you just saw. A lot of these bullet patterns were just things I was in college at the time, and a lot of them were just things I sketched in the margins of my notebook that I then figured out the math to just make. One of the perks of having a math major pursuing... I butchered that. Okay. So... this is just kind of where you really learn about him. And you know, I like this little monologue. It's, I think, some of the best bit I did here, but you know. Oh, okay, I already did that. Okay. Oh no, I got hit. I am so bad. So, oops. So something to note, I was actually originally planning to make like an entire new encounter with Cereb for the 10th anniversary. And, you know, I am still kind of bummed I didn't do that, and I'm sure all of you are. But the ideas that I had for it ended up becoming a lot bigger than just a fan game. So they haven't been scrapped, they have changed a lot. And I hope to one day have something to show for it, but that's not going to be for a while at the very least. You know, it's funny how, you know, I remember seeing people, like, a few years after I made this, was just like, saw this whole little bit right here, and was just like, oh my god, this guy predicted Deltarune. No, I didn't. But I'll take credit for it. It just be like that sometimes. Yeah, and, you know, I didn't want to retcon anything that Toby Fox might do, so I was deliberately extremely vague about Gaster, which is kind of boring, but you know, it is what it is. It was basically a shoehorned reason for why he has his own blasters. You know. I wanted to at least justify if I was going to have the thing that everyone had in their thing, in my thing. Yeah. The one thing that I did kind of screw up is that he fell into his creation in is the explanation given in Undertale, and that could mean the core, it could mean anything else, but you know, I don't know how people are able to just talk the entire time while they play a video game. Even when I know the game, I just feel like I'm constantly dead air. and we're going to stay. I will tell you right now, the idea I had for another encounter with this guy was going to take place after this ending right here. By the way, worth mentioning, you know, just one day while I was playing this fight, I randomly saw a little something in the brain wrinkles. And I decided, for some reason, to just sort of make that a thing that everyone sees. And hey, we got more than 5 gold for that. I'm going to do some of the other endings on those routes just off screen, just to get them checked off, because I want to get all the endings for this, just real quick. Alright, so this is the very first bit of work I did on Cereb. It was a text document where I just sort of put out some ideas for the fight. You know, you can read through it, but like, long and short of it is, you know, Cereb had psychic abilities and captures the player and is basically observing them and blocking their attacks as if they attack, and then just seeing how they react in different circumstances. So that's basically it. I did have plans, you can see at the bottom here, for a pink soul mode that splits the soul, and I did have a plan for having him warn a colleague at the end of the fight route, which I think I just honestly forgot about, because I kind of wish I put that in looking at it now. General idea stayed pretty consistent for the whole thing. I did kind of drop the whole psychic powers thing, and I don't think I really had the artistic skills to have hand-based telegraphs for a lot of things. One thing that I find funny is, you know, the pink heart, the split. Yeah, we no, funny connection to Chapter 5, but I mean, when you think about it, pink was basically the most obvious color that wasn't used as a soul mode, and actually split heart soul mode was a common thing that people came up with back in the day. So, like, I could pretend that, you know, I can see the future, but no, I was just going off of ideas. That like you can definitely see ending 12 in here. That was kind of planned from the beginning. What you know, I really wanted to subvert the whole hardest route being the one where you kill, because, you know, it's even back then it felt cliche. It felt like it was getting pretty cliche amongst the fan games. You know, not much has changed in that front. We still have Sans number 39, and what have you. Just less of it now, because fewer people are making fan games, because, you know, 10 years later. I think I settled on the whole brain design just because I felt like that was a very common archetype for monster designs, but one that Toby Fox had not touched on at all in his game. So I just felt like that was a niche that, like, I could take advantage of, and I like to think I did a good job. Sorry. I believe this is just the standard battle theme for this fight, slowed down. I know I used this and the slowed down themes from Undertale, but this one sounds like the Do 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 do. You know, which I should probably mention is a gym leader theme from a Pokemon fan game called Pokemon Insurgence. I not really sure why I settled on that, but like, you know, I asked the composer for if he'd be cool with it, and he was. So that's what we got here. Like, I didn't really have the means to to make music for my fan game at this point, and quite frankly, didn't have the skill either. I probably still don't. But you know, I did want to, as I couldn't do like the whole leitmotif thing that Toby Fox loves to do, but what I could do was sort of have a theming with the instrumentation. So, like, I use a lot of piano with Cereb. And except for when you get more aggressive with him, in which case it gets more synthetic, more synthy and more techy. The music. And this track was a training music from Trauma Center New Blood. And the Trauma Center games were just, I didn't even play them that much, but like, when I was thinking piano music, that was the first thing that came to mind. Because they do have a lot of chill piano music. Oh yeah, and this is too much from the But Nobody Came. So I earned a medal. Alright. One more of these. Yeah, I tried to, for like the items, come up with my own creative little stuff for them. And then of course have the bandage and stick. Which are... The stick's completely useless, but... I remember for some reason I thought the bandage healed 8, so I had it set to 8, and this item, the pea cheesecake, the pickled cheesecake, healed 10, and then I found out later that, no, the bandage heals 10, so I swapped their heal values. Alright, and then we have, this. Alright, and now for, just getting owned. Oops. And here's another unused track from the game, King Description. Just kind of felt like using it here. But, yeah, there's that ending. And now, we fight. Now, I did color code a lot of these endings. Obviously, the red ones are the murder ones, and then the gold ones are what I consider, like, the important ones. Like, if you get those endings, then you're basically golden. Because gold text. But, you know. Anyways, when doing this route, I went looking for music for it, and for some reason I just kind of decided, you know, I should do cave story music, which, you know, it's fine. Cave story is banger. There's a Scorching Back. It's from the when something bad happens in a previous area you've been in. I shouldn't. It's an old game, and I really don't have any reason not to spoil it, but like, I'm gonna be vague. If you know, you know. And now feel the wrath of a Newton's cradle. Oh, that was a bit of lag. And this dialogue changes depending on how many times you've been hit, and as well as your current HP. There's a lot of different attacks he can choose from in this phase of the fights, and they have a lot of randomness to them. For some reason, I was really keen on randomness in this fight. I thought predictability was bad or something. Jesus Christ, that's loud. Why did I have stacking sound effects? You know, this was my first real proper coding project, so I did a lot of... I didn't really have good practices. Hell, I recommend that you do not look at the code. It is a mess. Like, all the dialogue is spread intermittently throughout the files, in different files, in no particular order. It's... kind of screwy. I am going to get a orange. This skag was just... I'm proud of this one. It's so dumb. And like, I went really out of my way to make sure that there was no orange left in the game once you beat the color orange. Like, the attack meter has, like, little pixels of orange in it that I made sure were not in this mod. Like, where the green and yellow intersect. Or the green and red. Oh, shit. Well, I know where I'm staying on this attack. And I still got hit. Hooray. Couldn't have been more wrong. Consequences are precisely why you do it. Because you love the danger it puts you in. Proposal. I have powerful tools in my lab. So, one thing I really wanted to do with this fight is, like, you know, I love Toby Fox. He's fantastic games, fantastic writing, fantastic. I worship the guy. I hate that Undertale, like all of its hardest fights, are locked behind killing everyone. So, I wanted to subvert that. By having you not kill in order to, get the hard stuff. But we'll get to that in a moment. For now, he's gonna call us weak sauce. Okay. So, with that out of the way, let's get the other two endings. I believe we've done all the things now. Up to this. I am so good at talking, you know? So coherent. You can tell I am just as eloquent as Cereb, because I created Cereb, and therefore I am the eloquentest of eloquence. I do hope to see more of his, like, attacks from the route of the scorching back, because I think there's like 30 or so in there. It's absurd. Ah, yes, this. I had an attack kind of like this in like one of my earliest demos of this fight, and I distinctly remember someone saying, like, when it started, they were just like, oh man, I just went, oh god, it's another bullet test Toho, and then they just started moving down, and I'm just like, oh shit! And I just felt so good about that. And back to the Newton's Cradle. The Newton's Cradle is just silly. I did kind of have a rule for these attacks, which was that, like, I wouldn't give any one of these attacks the okay unless I was able to no-hit it 3 times in a row. Which isn't really foolproof when they're so random, but, I mean, it's something. This was the one attack that I remember I got rid of the stacking audio because it was just that bad. And I kind of wish I did it with the explosions, but, you know. Oh, yeah, and that one, since it only really has one attack, or only really attacks you once, does, like, the most damage out of all of his attacks. Let's have the giant triple chocolate soy mocha latte with whipped cream. Let's see. Gotta watch for the pupils. Oh, jeez. Forgot about that attack. That's, that was one I definitely got help with, because I couldn't really figure out how to find nearby things. Nearby electrical nodes, just because, I was still new to coding. Anyways, this is probably one of the craftier endings to get. But basically skipping his proposal entirely. Wasn't there music for this? Did I not have music? I thought... Alright, and now for the final ending. There are a few other things I'm going to showcase afterwards, but, you know, this is basically where things conclude for everyone. Or why the... This is basically where people call it done and dusted, because it turns into dust. Okay. And this is where things get interesting. I genuinely do not know how well I'm going to fare in this, because it's been a while. Probably been years since I've done this fight. This is Encore by Bees? It's slightly pitch shifted and tempo changed. But, you know. This is very sound dependent, or very good eyes dependent, and I know it proves trouble for a lot of people in hindsight, but... oh well, sorry. I did kind of give the player an advantage in that, you know, you really can just heal in it as the fight goes on. And like, it doesn't halt progress like it does for Sans, but it does kind of make oh fuck, I forgot about that part. This was actually the first binary wave I made. But, because, like, the talk route was some of the last attacks I did, with a few exceptions. There's a lot going on in that one. Yeah, at this point, you lose your items, but you do gain this stuff. Not as cool as Hopes and Dreams, but you can will embrace. Wills and Braces just isn't as good of a song name, though. Let's be real. Oh, the special attack. Sorry, I did not mean to skip over that. I'm worried about... I'm gonna turn this down a bit. I hope I was audible for most of that, but maybe I wasn't. In which case, I'll have a nightmare in editing, probably post-commentary. But, like, these last few attacks are probably some of the best, because they're very much final exam sort of things. Yeah, and then I pulled this card. Let's see. Probably gonna want to do this. This was the last attack I made for this fight. And I really wanted to go the extra mile for it. So the whole thing is like, I think I timed it about a full minute. Oops. By the way, those glass shards can damage you. Yeah. And I kept some cracks on the arena just as a little fun thing. Yeah, and that's that. Oh, I missed an ending. Right, okay, I forgot one. Forgot one of my own heckin' things. Alright, yeah, I gotta do this one. Yeah, his attacks do get more aggressive the lower his health, and the healing gets more aggressive the lower your health. By the end of this, that attack's gonna be going full Undyne. I believe also he has different dialogue here for the other endings if you fail. Like it's less of him thanking you for cooperating and more of him being like, "Ah, it is done." Ah. But anyways. There you are. Okay. I was really I remember just sort of adding this on a whim when I made the CYF version, and boy am I glad I did, because this is like one of the best things I think in this mod, just pulling this on the player. I had a lot of fun animating this tongue. Also, I think the fonts got screwed up, because I don't think it was this big before. I'll have to look into that. Whatever, it's CYF. It's functional. I mean, no shade at Ren. It's just there's a lot of bugs in this. No shade at Ren, LVK, or Air. It's just, you know. Yeah, no, this is definitely different font. Not the original fonts. Oops. Oh, I probably have a clip of it somewhere I'll pull up. Our little tete-a-tete-e. Oh well. Let's let's see, I do have a couple things I do want to show. Oh yeah, this happens after you get the flowy ending. It was my way of trying to say there is nothing else, but I do worry it may have had the opposite effect. But, anyways, as you might notice, my level has been set higher than normal. Oops. But yeah, I actually had sort of a anti-cheat thing for the final ending. Specifically the final ending. So alright, so I gotta do an extra, like, weak attack here. And here we get punched. Yeah, so a funny little joke that I lovingly took from what was then just a gag I really liked from some game I saw someone play, but now is probably my favorite Metroidvania, La Mulana. There's a trap in it where the game just punches the player, and it is funny. So I decided to lovingly steal that. That's the first thing I wanted to show. I will show the other one in a moment. So, I actually had a meltdown in my own little code over this that some people had seen. It's kind of embarrassing now, but at some point for the ending 12 route, I was planning to have Cereb get a little extra help, making things miserable for you, and that help was going to be in the form of turrets. I think a lot of Unitail code has changed. A lot of the code has changed since this was in Unitail, so I can't quite get it to work right now, but this is kind of what it would have looked like. Like, we'd have these, like, yeah, those green background things wouldn't be just for show. I was planning on having like 5 turrets, one on each, or 5 turrets on each side, on every other green, as it were, and you'd be able to take them out as you fought, but they would, the gun would be pointing at the player constantly and fire, and they would take turns firing at you, so that made a bit of Sans-like element to it, but to get more than 3 enemies in play, I basically would have had to edit the Unitail source code, and that involved me learning C#, which at the time I did not know, and I kind of ran out of patience over the span of a month of working on it, and just in the code I just like, fuck C#, stupid, I hate it, something like that, which is really funny now because it's like the main language I use nowadays. Go figure. Anyways, yeah, they aren't supposed to have dialogue boxes, but, you know, this is still early in development. like, the gun used to turn to face you in Unitail, but it doesn't now. And the bullets would actually fire towards you, but they don't now. But, yeah, and they wouldn't be very strong, just one attack would, break them. And that's when they would stop firing, but, like I said, this is unfinished code, and I did want to at least show it off. Shouldn't even be on the menu, but again, early code. So yeah. It's gonna have one here, 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 and here, and then same on the other sides. And these horizontal things were a relic of that. But yeah, that didn't happen. So I guess to close this off, I want to, I guess, talk about a few other little things. You know, I've never really been a very organized person, so there's just a lot of unused stuff just lying around in the files. I think there's like even evidence of a 14th ending. I just want everyone to know that that ending thing is just a relic from when I originally had 13 endings planned and had a bonus 14th. There is an ending 0 that is supposed to appear for a single frame when you die, and there is a kind of goofy ending that happens if you go for the ending 12 route and don't get hit a single time. To my knowledge, nobody has actually accomplished that, and frankly, I don't blame people for not doing it, because there's a lot of RNG in this fight, and it's, you know, it's kind of ridiculous. I might upload a recording of that in the near future, whether by legitimate means or just by showcasing it. But what's important is, you know, I just want to talk about everything that I want to talk about here. Yeah, you know, it's nice. Just, you know, every now and then someone spots me in the wild and it's like, oh shit, it's the guy who made Cereb, and you know, that puts a smile on my face. You know, looking back on all this, there's a lot of, I'm probably not going to redo this fight, but if I did, there's a lot of things I would change. You know, the code especially, I think, needs a lot of work, and yeah, some of the attacks definitely could be more fair. I have virtually no regrets about the writing, though. I think that is some of my best work, even now, 10 years later. And I just, you know, it's been nice seeing all the different people play it, from just random YouTubers to friends to freaking Merg. I don't even know what that guy's up to nowadays, but hope they're doing well. And yeah, I guess that's about it. You know, I don't know how many people are going to watch this video. I'm just kind of making this for myself, but you know, whether it gets 1, 10, or a million views, it won't get a million views, but you know, thank you for watching. And happy birthday, Cereb. See you later.